In this ACT video, we are going to review some geometric formulas about volume. Okay, we're going to go through the different three-dimensional figures here. We're going to start with rectangular prism, and a rectangular prism just looks like a tissue box. And the volume, you find the volume by multiplying the length times the width times the height. And you might just write that as length times width times height. I have it written in words for you, but more commonly we see it with the symbols. And it's important to note that volume is measured in cubic units. So I don't have any units listed for this figure, so I might just write cubic units, or I can write it like this. But for some problems, you might see feet cubed, or meters cubed, or inches cubed, things like that. Cylinder. Cylinder is like maybe a canned drink or something. It's made up of a circle at the top and a circle at the bottom, which is why the formula for the volume is pi times the radius squared and then times the height. And so in symbols, that's pi r squared times the height. And the pi r squared part, it does look like the area of a circle, but since we have 3 dimensions here, we also have to multiply it by the height. Cone. Cone is also made up of a circle piece, and so this cone is volume is equal to 1/3 times pi times the radius squared times the height. So with symbols, you might just see it written like this. Volume is equal to 1/3 pi radius squared times the height. And don't forget about your order of operations. You want to make sure that you complete the exponents before you multiply. So in these cases with the radius squared, you have to square that, then multiply all your pieces. I also want to take a minute to make sure you understand that you have to read the directions and look at your answer choices on the ACT, because they may want you to write your answer in terms of pi, which means leave the pi there like a constant, or actually use 3.14 as a pi, for pi. As a substitute. So just make sure you're reading the directions and looking at the answer choices. All right, now this one will play tricks on your eyes. It's a pyramid. It's got a rectangular base, and this is the height right here. Let's get the highlighter. The height is perpendicular with that rectangular base. And so what you're doing is you're just finding the area of the base, length times width, multiplying it by the height, and then dividing it by 3. And dividing by 3 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/3. So you can also write this as 1/3 length times width times height. But if you look at it this way, area of the base, that base is a rectangle. So it's the same thing, just 2 different ways to approach it. Same thing. And then a sphere, which is just a 3-dimensional circular figure, and it has a radius, and the volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. And again, make sure you do your exponents before you do any multiplying.